you find that you have some tightness in the hips and the knees, you can place something underneath the seat, a blanket or a thin cushion will help to soften that space of the hips and give you more of a natural curve in the lower part of your spine. And making sure that you feel even through your sitting bones, and allowing the space of the sitting bones to move down towards the ground, down towards the earth. From that stable position in the lower body, lengthening through the spine, reaching up through the crown of the head. Finding yourself in this balance between these 2 points, energy moving down through the root energy, the base of the spine, and energy rising up through the crown of the head. An idea of being connected to heaven and earth. In between those points, begin to notice that breath or energy is already flowing. Simply observing the natural flow of breath, no need to change anything in this moment. Simply watch your body breathe. This more subtle form of breath and energy is called prana, that vital life force that feeds the energy of our life. Take a moment to turn the gaze inward and observe. Taking a deeper breath in, fill yourself all the way up. Open mouth, exhale, letting go. 2 more times, cleansing breaths, filling up. Exhale, releasing, letting go. 1 more time, filling all the way up to the top. Maybe find a momentary pause with full lungs. And then exhale, sighing out, emptying out completely. On your next inhalation, stretch and reach the arms up to the sky. And as you exhale, bring the hands behind the back, loosely interlace the fingers, wiggle your shoulders a little bit side to side, and make sure that feels nice and loose. And not pulling the knuckles towards the ground, but simply letting the weight of the hands stretch a little bit closer to the earth. Feeling a lift through the upper part of your lungs, the pectoral muscles opening, and breathing deeply, filling the top of the lungs. As you exhale, this time out through the nose and finding strength at that root energy, contracting pelvic floor, lower abdominal muscles. And do that 2 more times. On inhalation, breath rises up underneath the collarbones. Feel extension in the upper part of your spine. And as you exhale, that softens and the strength moves down to the space of the root. Again, inhaling, filling up. And exhale, energy moving down. Separating now the fingers and sweep the arms up and overhead, touch the palms. And as you exhale, bring hands to heart center. Inhalation circles the arms up, palms to touch. And exhale, breathing out, hands to heart. 1 more time, reaching up, breathing in. And as you exhale, this time separate the hands but keep the arms extended. Curl the fingers in and point the thumbs up towards the sky or the ceiling. We're beginning Kapalabhati breathing. So just a quick reminder, Kapalabhati, the belly button pulls in as you exhale sharply out through the nose. You release the belly softly, and the inhale will be passive or reflexive. So all focus is on the exhalation, keeping the inhale passive. 1 more time, breath in together, filling up. Sigh it out, stay nice and relaxed as you begin. Belly is pumping, slow and steady. Sharp exhalation as the belly releases, the inhale will be passive. All emphasis and focus on that sharp exhalation out through the nose. Several more rounds. Good. Releasing Kapalabhati. Inhale, stretch the arms up and overhead, hook the thumbs. Hold the breath in, that pause with full lungs as the hands stretch up towards the sky. Chin gently tucks down towards the throat. Feel the back of the neck long. Big opening for side waist, armpits, length of arms and shoulders. And as you hold, inhale retention for just a few more moments. You feel spacious in the back of the neck. And when you need to release, you exhale, the arms sweep down, palms rest on the knees, and take a few moments to soften shoulders and simply observe the body coming back to a state of balance, equanimity, as the breath smooths and evens. We'll take one more round Kapalabhati. Inhale, reach the arms up. Curl the fingers in, thumbs point up towards the sky. One more time, breathe in. Sigh out. Nice and relaxed, slow and steady, starting with the exhalation. Keep that going. Few more moments here, feeling that belly pull in as you take the sharp exhale out through the nose. Belly releases, that reflexive inhalation. Really emphasizing the exhalation in this breathing technique. Belly is pumping. Good. Releasing Kapalabhati. Inhale, big stretch up, hook your thumbs. Make the arms long as the chin tucks down towards the throat. And holding here with full lungs. So if you forgot and you release the breath, fill back up. You're holding here full lungs. Inhale, retention. And you hold for as long as you can. As you hold, you feel the heat building up and underneath the collarbones. Big stretch and length for our shoulders. And you hold for as long as you can, but when you need to release, you'll exhale, the arms will sweep down, the palms will rest on the knees, shoulders will soften, and you take a few moments to simply be in observation, body and breath. Gently turn the gaze up to the space between the eyebrows, and now taking a moment to notice the quality and state of the mind. These three things, always linked, as is the mind is the body, as is the body is the mind, as above so below, heaven and earth, and the link is the breath. Now planting the soles of the feet onto the ground and walking the hands back so that the hands are underneath the shoulders. Reverse tabletop as you inhale, lift the hips up, holding here and breathe. Feeling a nice stretch across chest into shoulders, using the strength of the hamstrings and the glutes to lift the hips high. Continuing to breathe in and out through the nose. Feeling heat building in the arms. Maybe getting a stretch of the length of the arms, even into the shoulder joint. One more breath. Inhale, lift high. Exhale, take the seat back down to the ground. Extend the legs forward. A little shake through the knees. You can point and flex to the feet, so pointing toes and then drawing them back towards the shins. And eventually come to a flex position for the feet, toes moving back towards the shins. Inhale and reach your arms up, extending fingertips long. And as you exhale, belly towards the thighs and hands towards the toes. Good. You're going to make some dynamic movement here. Inhale, reaching up. And exhale, folding forward. So you're only in full extension for just a moment. Massaging out the backs of your legs as you flow through the inhale and the exhale. Think about keeping the spine long. The gaze forward towards the tops of the feet or the toes. 2 more rounds. And the next time that you reach up, take a big breath in, and on exhalation, twisting to the right. Bring the left hand to the right thigh. Stay seated nice and tall as you rotate through the spine. Gentle gaze over the right shoulder. Breathing in and out through the nose. On your next inhalation, unwind head and body back to center. Exhale out. And then inhale, reaching the arms up. On your exhalation, twisting left. Right hand comes across to left thigh, rotating to the left. Open and spacious across chest and shoulders. Gently turning head to gaze to the left. Continuing to breathe smoothly in and out through the nose. Finding each inhalation as an upward lifting energy, and each exhalation as a place of strength, contracting muscles at the root. On your next inhale, unwind head and body comes to move forward, and bending at the knees, planting the feet, walking the hands back, reverse table. Fingers point back towards the heels. And then lifting up. Use the strength of your legs to do the work of the lift, and then feeling open across chest, across shoulders. Neck is long so the head doesn't drop back. Continue to breathe. Don't hold your breath here. Let your whole front side body open to the sky as you inhale and lift high. Exhale, lowering down. Extending the legs forward, shaking out through the knees. And this time circle through the ankles. So you're circling the feet around in one direction and then take the opposite direction. Come back to center, now flexing the feet. Inhale, reach the arms up. As you exhale, forward fold. Let the belly rest on the thighs and stop at the point where the spine stays long. Maybe you reach the shins or the ankles or even the toes. And as you breathe, let the breath create a slight dynamic movement, a slight lifting on inhalation and a slight softening on exhalation. 3 more breaths. Taking your time, completing your 3 breaths, and when you are complete, on an exhalation, you'll squeeze your belly and walk yourself back up. And you're going to fold at the legs just for a moment so that you can roll over the tops of your knees and come to hands and knees, taking a few rounds of cat and cow. On your inhalation, the belly will drop, the tail will lift, you'll get a nice stretch to the abdominals, opening chest and shoulders and throat. And on exhalation, you'll round out through the upper back, pull belly button to spine, getting space between the shoulder blades. And continue to flow between those 2 points. This will help to open up spine, sacrum, chest, and shoulders. Completing 1 more round. Coming to a neutral spine, a flat back position, and extend the right leg out straight behind you. Press through the sole of the foot. You're pressing and activating that back chain, so hamstrings and glutes are activated. On inhalation, feeling length. On exhalation, pulling knee to nose and round. Inhale, extend back. Exhale, press and round. One more time, inhale, find that extension, and exhale, pulling in. Good. And now stretch back through the leg, bend at the knee, and point the toe to the sky. You're going to take this into a bit more of a back bend. So on inhale, point the toe, and then let that reach up to the ceiling as the chest lifts. That's your inhalation. As you exhale, swing through knee to nose. Good. Inhale, bending at the back knee, point the toe to the sky, lift the chest. On exhalation, drawing in, knee to nose. And one more time. Breathing in, lifting up, and breathing out, hugging in. Bring the knee down to the ground, walk the hands forward for downward facing puppy. Downward facing puppy, the knees stay on the ground, but the spine is long, both sides of the waist lengthening. Feel that good stretch up the inner arm line, all the way up through the armpits. And now walking yourself back up, preparing for the opposite side. Hands plant under shoulders as you extend the left leg back. Press through the sole of the foot. Feel the activation of the back leg. Inhale, get long. Exhale, knee to nose. Pull it in. Good. Continuing. Inhaling, lengthen. Exhale, drawing in. One more time, pressing through the sole of the foot. And then drawing knee to nose. Get a good rounding action. Now extending back. And bend at the knee and point the toe to the sky. On your inhalation, lift the chest, lift the toe, and on your exhalation, draw in, knee to nose. And you're really swinging through the hip here. So you're getting nice and loose in the hip joint, opening up the hip flexor as the toe lifts, getting strong in that backside change. And as you exhale, really drawing in, hollowing out the belly, pulling in, knee to nose. Good. And now lowering the knee down. Walking the hands forward, and this time curl the toes under for downward facing dog. Lifting up and back and pedaling out through the feet, the knees. Feeling that space opening up through soles of feet and calves, hamstrings. Take all the time that you need for this dynamic movement. But when you are ready for stillness, you'll let both knees come center, a little bend in the knees so you can get more space in the upper part of your back. Softening the knees gives relief to the hamstrings, creating space in the upper spine. Now practicing turbo dog. You're going to bend your elbows down towards the mat. They go straight down towards the ground, but they don't touch. So you're really opening up through the upper back. You're going to feel this in your triceps and the serratus muscles that wrap up the side of the body and underneath the shoulder blades. These are the muscles you want working in your downward facing dog. Press the arms to straight. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, sighing out. Good. You're going to inhale and lengthen the spine. As you exhale, look forward and step your feet up to your hands. And bring your hands to your shins and inhale for a half flat back. As you exhale, soften knees and fold in. Belly meets thighs, crown of the head release towards the ground. Inhale and lengthen. Exhale and fold. One more time. Inhale, lengthen. And exhale, folding in. Take your feet about hips width apart so you have a little bit more space, and then bend the knees quite a bit as you reach for opposite elbows and maybe sway side to side. Come back to center and stillness for a moment and really let the weight of the hands traction the spine, crown of the head releasing down towards the ground. And now releasing the hands from the elbows, take a deeper bend in the knees, and from the pit of the belly, roll yourself up one vertebra at a time. Once you are all the way up, roll your shoulders forward and back. And then step the feet together for mountain pose, big toes together to touch, pressing down through the soles of the feet, strong in the legs, palms face forward, energy through the hands. So there's no tension in the body, just enlivenment through the whole structure of the body. Crown of the head, reaching up. Experience yourself as standing tall. On your next inhalation, reach the arms up and overhead. Let the palms touch. As you exhale, diving forward like a swan dive forward, soften the knees if you need. Inhale, flat back, lengthen. Plant your hands on the ground and step your right foot back, lower the knee down to the ground. Coming into a low lunge. Take your time, walk your hands up to the left thigh. You can interlace your fingers and then press away so you get really long through the spine. As you press into the hands, straighten the arms so you can lengthen and grow tall through the spine. Now as you reach the arms up to the sky, you want to think about that strength at the root. So try to bring and stack the right hip a little bit more over the right knee so you're long and tall and lifted. Good. As you inhale, bring the palms together and then bring the thumbs to the back of the skull. Lift the chest. Feeling upper back extension, and this gives you a soft place to rest the head so the neck doesn't have to hang. But now interlace the fingers and press the arms to straight. Palms reach up to the sky. And side stretch over towards that front left leg. So you're reaching over to the left. Long through side waist. Inhale back to center. On your exhalation, sweep the hands down. Lift the back knee. Good. Keeping the right hand planted, left arm reaches up for spinal twist. You can wrap the hand behind the back, taking a half bind. That will help to open across chest, pectoral, and into the shoulder rotator. And reaching back up as you breathe in, and as you exhale, plant the hand down, step back to plank. Pressing the ground away, hollow out through the space of the belly, using the strength of your legs in the center. Breathe in. On exhalation, lower knees, lower chest, lower chin. Modified push-up position. Move the chest through between the hands for cobra pose. Legs extend out, tops of feet press. Inhale, baby cobra. Keep the neck long, gaze down at the ground. And as you exhale, come back through all fours, then curl the toes, lift the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Now step the right foot forward between the hands and lower the left knee down to the ground, setting up for low lunge. Take a few breaths here with your hands on the ground. Feel a little bit more stretch in the front of the left hip. And then as you bring the hands to the right thigh, back the hips up a little bit so left hip stacks over left knee, and push away with the hands so the spine is long and you feel tall. Continuing to stay tall as the hands reach up to the sky, breathing in. And as you exhale, palms together, thumbs to the back of the skull, you feel the chest lift up towards the ceiling. This will give you a nice stretch in the tricep muscles as well, so just enjoy that spacious feeling. And then interlace the fingers, press the palms to the sky, stay nice and long through both side waists as you reach over to the right for side stretch. Come back to center, breathing in. On the exhalation, the hands move down to the ground. Lift the back knee. And finding spinal twist, left hand plants, right arm reach. And taking that half bind, hand moves behind the back and feeling that spaciousness in pectoral, rotator cuff. Unwind back to center on an inhalation. Drop the hand on an exhalation, stepping back to plank. Pressing the ground away, getting strong through the whole body. One more time, modified chaturanga, lower knees, chest and chin. Scooping through, a little higher in your cobra. Tops of feet press so the legs are strong as the chest lifts. And then softening the elbows, curling the toes with straight legs, pressing back, downward facing dog. On your inhalation, stretch back, get long. On your exhalation, step feet to hands. And flat back, lengthen. And softening into your fold. And separate the feet a few inches apart. And then you have the option to reach for opposite elbows in front of the shins, or maybe you're ready to wrap the arms behind the calves. Listen to your body, soften the knees as much as you need. And once you have the bind, you can contract quadricep muscles to soften and open the hamstrings a little bit more. Releasing the hands, soften the knees, deeper bend in the knees, and from the pit of the belly, roll on up. One more round with the shoulder rolls, taking that in one direction and then the other. Now stepping the feet together, big toes to touch for mountain pose. Pressing down into the soles of the feet, you'll feel your legs activate as the palms rotate forward, energy in the arms, long through the back of the neck. On your next inhalation, arms reach up and overhead. You're going to interlace your fingers and point index fingers towards the sky. Biceps squeeze to the ears. So listening to your shoulders. If you're feeling too tight in the shoulders, then you want to separate the hands. But if you can, find that interlace, pointing index fingers, squeezing biceps to the ears. Inhale and get long, soften trapezius muscles. And on the exhale, reach over to the right. Feel lots of space on the left side waist. It doesn't matter how far you bend. You want to stay long through both side waist. And very gently rolling left shoulder so that you feel like you're opening the chest to the sky. It's a micro movement. And keep squeezing the biceps by the ears. Keep breathing. Press down into the feet. Tailbone is long. The standing half moon pose. Inhale back to center. Take a breath. Maybe soften the elbows for a moment. On your next inhalation, arms long, squeeze biceps to ears and reaching over opposite side. Really stay strong through the legs. Think about lowering the tailbone down towards the ground so the lower back stays spacious. Squeezing biceps to ears, small micro movement to rotate the right side pectoral to the sky. Keep breathing, keep squeezing. Keep lowering tailbone down towards the ground. On your next inhale, come center. Exhaling, hands to heart center, turn the toes out, preparing to move into yogic squat. So with the toes out, you're going to grip with the toes, contract your quadricep muscles, and with the hip flexors, pull yourself down. So this is not a relaxation. This is coming from a place of strength. And as you release, you'll feel stretch in your hips, a lot of space in your lower back. And using the strength at your center, bring the tailbone, the sitting bones down to the ground. You're moving into boat pose. So lifting the feet off of the ground, bent knee position. Hands can be behind the knees for support, or the arms can reach out in front. So if you feel like you lose strength in your center when you reach the arms out, keep the support behind the knees so the chest stays lifted. Finding your perfect position, really strong in your center. You're going to inhale and reach the arms up. So you're really feeling that strength in the side waist now. As you exhale, crossing at the ankles, roll over the tops of the knees and step back to plank. Good, strong in your plank. Breathe in if you're ready for full push-up position, chaturanga, lowering through. You can always use the modified position or pressing into upward facing dog, thighs lifted off of the ground. Curling the toes, pressing back, downward facing dog. And taking a nice deep breath. On your inhale, reaching the right leg up to the sky. Bend at the knee and stack the hips so you get a good stretch in outer right hip. Shoulders stay square to the front of the mat. Now sweeping the knee forward to the nose, nice and strong in your center. As you plant right foot between the hands, drop the back foot flat for warrior two. Feet like they're on train tracks or a tightrope. And now circle yourself up. And gazing out over the front fingertips. Pay attention to the front knee. Make sure it doesn't drop in towards the big toe. Instead, it travels right down the center of the foot. Arms are strong, gaze is forward. And now bring the back hand down and the front arm reach up and overhead for reverse warrior. And Finding length through both sides of the waist. And now returning to full warrior two, both arms out at shoulder height. Extending the front fingertips forward, getting long as you move into side angle pose. Fingers can come down to the ground, or for a modification, bringing elbow to knee. The upper arm extends towards the sky. The top arm behind the back for half bind, opening through chest, pectoral muscles, rotators. Go easy in that space. And reaching up, extending up, rising up. Deep breath in. As you exhale, hands circle down, step back. Stepping into plank and going through your flow. High push-up to low push-up. Inhaling to cobra or upward facing dog, and exhale back, downward facing dog. Extending the left leg up, bending the knee and stacking the hip. Opening up, shoulders in the hips, shoulders stay square to the front of the mat. Bringing knee to nose and planting left foot between the hands, back foot flat. Rising up, warrior two. Take a moment to steady yourself with that deep bend in the front knee. Shoulders soften away from ears as arms are long and energized. And then reversing the back hand down, front arm reach. Reaching up or maybe even a little back. Opening up that front side rib cage. Returning to warrior two. And extending the left arm forward, getting long through both side waist as you move into side angle pose. Take that modification with elbow at knee if you need for the hips. And then winding the hand behind the back, finding a half bind position. And reaching up through the top arm and rising back up to warrior two. Take a deep breath in. Deep breath out. And inhale, filling. On the exhalation, hands circle down, stepping back, finding your plank position and moving through the flow. High to low push-up. Cobra or upward facing dog takes you back to downward facing dog. On your inhalation, stretching back. On your exhalation, lowering knees down to child's pose. Take a moment here to rest. Softening hips back to heels and maybe bringing the hands into prayer position with the thumbs at the back of the skull. This will give you a place to gently stretch tricep muscles, lengthen through the side waist. The more you move the elbows forward, the more you'll feel that stretch on the backs of the arms. Letting the breath soften. Softening, feeling that release. One breath returning to a smooth and even rhythm. Equanimity, body, mind, and breath. And walking yourself back up. And you're going to find your downward facing dog. On inhalation, stretching back. On exhalation, step or hop forward. Inhale, finding a flat back position. Exhale, softening into a fold. And this time, rising up through the flat back. Inhale, finding flat back. Arms sweep out to the side as you reach up and overhead for upward salute. And exhaling, hands to heart center. Taking a moment here, hands at heart center, Samastitihi. Preparing for eagle pose, balancing pose, bringing hands to hips now, and give a gentle squeeze at the hips, which will help with balance. Softening through the knees, getting the weight into the right foot, and lifting your left knee up. You're going to wrap the left leg around the right. Maybe the toes can wrap around the calf, or maybe they point down towards the ground. Bending the standing leg knee so that like you're sitting down in a chair. And you can stay right here working on the balance or adding in some shoulder stretch Taking the arms out to the side. Taking the right arm under the left, wrapping up. Finding your eagle arms. The deeper you sit, the easier it is to find that strength on the legs, squeezing everything into center. And unwinding the arms, unwinding the legs, bring the knee up, and then setting it back down on the ground as the hands come to the heart. Taking a few moments to press energy down into the legs. And to smooth and even the breath. And bringing hands to hips, squeeze for balance. Taking the opposite side now. So first soften the knees, that's helpful. Get a nice high lift up. Bending the knees, getting a nice high lift. Right leg wraps around. Feeling that energy down through the left leg. Like you're sitting in a chair. So bending that standing leg knee, upper back stays long. Taking the arms out to the side. The opposite arm winds underneath. Squeeze everything to center. Inner thighs are squeezing. Feeling that space in the upper part of your back. Keep breathing. Winding the arms and then lifting the knee up as you unwind the legs and bringing that right foot down to stand, hands to heart center. Everything comes to center now. Smoothing out the breath. On your next inhale, release the arms down by your sides and then sweep them up and overhead as you exhale, diving forward. Inhaling to your flat back, lengthen legs, lengthen spine, planting the hands and step or jump through, finding your way into downward facing dog. And once you're in your down dog, take a breath. Extending right leg long and straight. This time keep the hips square. So you feel that squared off position, nice and strong through that back glute, thigh. Inhale, you can point the toe to get longer. As you exhale, knee to nose, stepping through. Warrior two. Back foot drops flat, spiral your way up. Reverse. Back hand down, front arm reach. Returning to center. Extending out for side angle pose. So reaching out, bringing the hand down to the ground, winding the hand behind the back. And now if the full bind is in your practice, you can bring the hand that's on the ground underneath that front thigh, and perhaps you're finding a clasp or a bind. Try to keep the chest opening up, the bottom side waist long. Never forcing to get into these positions, taking the half bind if that feels best for your body. Unwind now and bringing the right hand down to the ground, reaching up. Straighten the front leg for triangle pose. And you might need to move the hand to the ankle or the shin, or the fingertips can be on the ground. Both side waist long. Softening the front knee so you don't strain as you rise back up to warrior two. Take a full breath. And circling the hands down, just stepping back to downward facing dog. Once you're in your down dog, take that extra breath, breathing fully to the collarbones and exhaling out through the mouth. Extending the left leg now, hip stays square, feeling that closed hip position. Pointing the toe to get long, and then drawing knee to nose, stepping left foot between the hands. Back foot drops flat for warrior two. Once you're steady, reverse your warrior. And returning to center, extending that front arm, reaching forward for side angle pose. Taking your time to wind that top arm behind the back and listening to your body to decide if you go into the full bind. and honoring your shoulders, your hips. Winding from the pose now, planting the left hand down, right arm reach, and straighten the front leg for triangle pose. Contracting through the quadricep muscle, squeeze the inner thighs together. Maybe you need to bring that bottom hand to the ankle or the shin for a little extra support, long through both sides of the waist. Softening the front knee now so that you can come up without strain. Take one breath in your warrior pose. And then circling the hands down, stepping back, downward facing dog. Nice big inhale. As you exhale, lower knees to the ground. And one more time into child's pose, softening hips to heels. You might like to try turning the palms to face up. This rotation through the shoulders can feel really releasing and also a receptive gesture, the hands opening to the sky. And starting to walk yourself up. If you turn the palms up, turn them down, bringing yourself into an upright position and coming to stand on your knees, setting up for camel pose. We'll take this in several stages. So first, rising up to stand on your knees, bring your hands to your lower back. The fingers will point down and the thumbs will point out, and squeezing the elbows together. Tailbone points down towards the ground, and also press your shins into the ground so that you're strong through the legs. Now just lifting up through the chest, so you open your pectoral muscles towards the sky and breathing up and underneath the collarbones. This is a very beautiful way to take this pose without straining anything in the lower back. Squeeze the thighs, squeeze the belly, bring the hands to heart center. And the resting position will be in hero's pose between rounds. So you can place your feet flat onto the ground and sit back on your heels. If that's straining in any way for your knees, you can always put a block underneath your sitting bones or come to rest in easy seat, cross-legged position. As we progress through the rounds, just know you can always stay in this seated position if you're feeling any strain in the lower back. Returning to stand on your knees. And you can take this opening position, just keeping the hands at the lower back, or to go a little bit deeper into the pose, you can curl the toes under so the heels are lifted a little bit closer to your hands, or the tops of the feet could be flat on the ground. Inhale, lifting the chest and starting to slide the hands down towards the feet, reaching for heels. The hips shift a little forward over the knees, and then opening up through the chest. Keep the neck long, the head is not hanging back. You're really long through both sides of the waist, opening chest to sky, breathing deeply here. And to come out, squeezing inner thighs, squeezing belly, rise back up, and coming to your hero's pose for resting position. A full hero's pose would be the knees together, opening the feet so that the bottom can sit on the ground, but never doing this if it feels like strain on your knees. This is a wonderful position to be in the natural curve of the spine. Taking a few moments to just be in this neutralizing position. Now you can stay here simply focusing on your breath and a meditative gesture, or if you feel that you have one more round of camel that your body is inviting you, then perhaps you'd like to go a little bit deeper into the pose. Your option to rise up for this third round. And the tops of the feet could be flat or the toes curled under. And then bringing the hands to the lower back and sliding the hands down, reaching towards the heels. And now you have the option here if it feels appropriate for your neck, to let the head release back a little bit. But again, if that feels straining, then tuck the chin towards the throat. Full front side body opening, really opening heart to sky, breathing deeply. Breath comes up and underneath the collarbones. And when you're ready to exit, squeezing inner thighs, squeezing belly, rising back up, finding that neutralizing position, sitting in hero's pose. Back bends are very energizing, so as you take a moment to pause here, feel that prana, your life force rising up. Energy for the heart, the throat, the face, and the brain. And now lifting up just enough so that you can easily drop a hip to the side and bringing the legs around in front. And extending the legs out in front, pointing the toes, and walking the hands back. This time the fingers are pointing forward towards the hips. And you're going to press down firmly, opening the chest, pointing the toes to the earth, lifting the hips up high. Reverse plank position. Then on your inhale, press down, lift up, toes point to the ground. And as you exhale, soften the bottom back down to the ground. And you're going to bend the right knee in and hugging the knee in towards the body. And preparing for a gentle spinal twist. Remember, these twists are like a tonic for the spine, neutralizing after that big effort in the back bends. So gently wrapping left arm around right shin, bring right fingertips behind, rotating through the chest, rotating through the head so the head turns towards the right shoulder. Each inhalation, you're breathing the spine long. Each exhalation finds strength in lower abdominals and at the root. Several more breaths here, opening gently into this right side twist. And your next inhale, head returns to center, body returns to center, left knee comes in to meet the right, sitting tall. And then extending the right leg out, hugging the left thigh in towards the belly. And gently wrapping the right arm around the left shin as you rotate to the left. Left fingertips come behind. On each inhalation, you find length. Each exhalation, finding strength. And taking several rounds of breath here in the twist. Continue to keep the breath flowing. And then winding head, winding body, coming back to center. And both legs extend forward, preparing for Paschimottanasana, forward fold. So you worked on this in the beginning of practice. Probably a lot more space in your hamstrings now, but going easy. Inhale, reaching the arms up to the sky. And as you exhale, bring belly to thighs, hands towards the shins, the ankles, the feet, whatever you can hold on to while you continue to find length in the spine, length in the neck, so the gaze is forward towards the top of the feet. Each inhalation, finding that length. Each exhalation, soften belly towards the thighs. And you're just finding that gentle rocking movement that rides with the breath. Three more deep breaths here in the fold. Taking this opposite position now than those big back bends that you were taking. Now softening, chest forward. Inhale. As you exhale, squeeze the belly and use that strength to come back up. Bending at your knees now and rolling down onto your back. So the inversion today will be plow pose, but if you find that you need to be in more of a resting position, then you could always take a gentle bridge or even a supported bridge by placing something under your lower back and simply resting with the hips lifted, the support under the lower back. For plow pose, arms are alongside. You're going to bring the knees in towards the belly and then use the strength of your abdominals to lift the hips off of the ground, and the legs will come up and overhead. So you're reaching your toes back to the ground behind you and supporting your lower back with your hands. If the toes do not touch, you must keep the hands at the lower back for support. If you find that the toes are firmly on the ground, you have the option to extend the arms forward, maybe interlace the fingers. Try to get the hands to rest on the ground so you're really softening through the shoulders. Maybe the palms just press down onto the ground. You're really getting this position of hips above the heart inversion with a gentle stretch on the hamstrings. And releasing the hands down now to the ground, either side of your mat. Hugging the knees around the ears, gentle squeeze. And then very slowly, from the strength of your abdominals, start to roll down one vertebra at a time. And once you're back down on the ground, take the feet as wide as your mat and just take some gentle windshield wipering action side to side. Come back to center. And then bring the soles of your feet together and let the knees drop open for Supta Baddha Konasana, reclined bound angle pose. And this will just give you a gentle, soft hip opening. You can bring the hands to rest on the belly, or one hand on the belly, one hand on the heart. Just feeling the gentle rise and fall of breath right there at your center. And maybe the soft beat of your heart. Feel these two energies, hand on the belly, hand on the heart, home of your will, your truth, and also home to love on the hand that rests at the heart. These two balancing energies, strength and love, power and grace. Resting in perfect balance. You can stay here for a few more breaths before we move into final relaxation. But if you find your hips need a little bit more stretch, feel free to bring the knees back up and then bending the knees in towards the rib cage, coming into happy baby pose, reaching for edges of feet or perhaps even the big toes, knees soften down towards the rib cage or the earth, and gently rocking side to side. Taking as much time as you need here to feel release in hips and lower back, but when you are ready, you'll be transitioning into Shavasana, final relaxation. When you come into your relaxation after that more active back bending class, you may find something under your knees is helpful to support the lower back so you can fully release and rest. And softening legs and hips, softening belly. Let the palms turn to face up so you have a softness across the chest and the shoulders. Any support that you need to make your relaxation more comfortable, feel free to take time to set that up for yourself now, and then surrender the whole body towards the earth. Letting everything soften and release from its effort, and now work towards being effortless. There's nothing left to do except for remain still. One of the tenets of final relaxation, Shavasana, corpse pose, stillness. So commit these next few minutes to being and remaining still for the deepest rest and release, the deepest healing. Soften the belly. You'll notice the gentle rise and fall of breath there. Continue to let that breath slow down naturally, easily. Relaxing through the throat and the jaw and the eyes. Head rests heavy. Everything letting go. Now stay completely relaxed as you bring awareness back to your body, side of the body that's facing the earth, surrendered, heavy to the earth. Bringing awareness back to your breath, the front side of the body open and facing the sky, aware of the breath that's already flowing through. Take a few moments here to observe the breath lengthen and deepen as you feel front side body open to the sky. And now taking a deeper inhale to fill yourself up. Feel the prana, the life force, enter your body on inhalation, refreshing, and on exhalation, sighing out, releasing, cleansing, clearing. Do that one more time. Fill yourself up. And empty yourself out. And taking some movement in fingers and toes, getting life back into the body. And you can begin to rotate at wrists and ankles, getting blood flowing again in the arms and the legs. Anything else that feels good to get the body back into itself, stretching, wiggling. And when you feel ready, bend at your knees and roll to a side and spend a few moments curled up on your side just for transition time. Curling into yourself in these last final moments of energy moving in. And now pressing palms into the earth, using the strength of your arms, lift yourself up to a comfortable seat. And once again, finding energy, moving down through the sitting bones, connecting to that energy of the earth. Effortless length in the spine floating as the crown of the head reaches up to the sky. And between these 2 points of heaven and earth, this energy flows. Your life force, your chi, your prana now vibrating at a much higher frequency at the end of practice. Observing that energy flow from root to crown. We'll take a breath in together. Exhale, sighing out. Breathing in. Sighing out. And inhaling to our Om. Vibration of Om resonates deeply in each and every one of your cells as you bring your hands together at heart center. A moment of gratitude for this practice that reconnects us to our energy at the earth, grounding, connected energy, and connects us to the energy at the place of the sky, the heavens, energy rising up to that place of higher source. In between heaven and earth, we rest our energy, our prana. Equanimity, balance. Namaste.